You know, NASCAR fans appreciate a good pit strategy. The best teams are always looking for ways to make things faster, smoother, and more efficient. But buying a car? Most of us think that it's going to be a long, drawn-out process. I did too. Then I found out you can actually buy a car online on AutoTrader. Really? I started the way most people do, searching inventory, comparing options, narrowing things down, but then I realized I could do way more of the process online than I expected. Get details, explore financing options, connect with a local dealer, and continue moving through the buying process from wherever I happen to be. And here's what surprised me most. You're still not doing it alone. Real dealer support is there if you need it, which gives you confidence every step of the way. Plus, you're in control. Want to do everything online? Great. Prefer to handle some parts in person? That's an option too. It's buying a car your way. So if you're in the market for your next ride, check out the huge selection available on AutoTrader and see how simple the process can be. Buy your car online on AutoTrader. Really. Visit autotrader.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 154. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran. In today's episode, the title is called Toys in the Driveway. Now, this episode is really all about perseverance. In fact, it's a story of lifelong perseverance, and I'm just going to tell you that there is a happy ending here. And this is a very personal story for me, as it is a story about me. So, since I was a kid, growing up in South Florida, my dad always had a boat. My dad actually had several boats, one of them being a 41-foot sailboat that he would drag me along, and I would have to work with him on it like all summer. I got an incredible tan, but worked my tail off and spent a lot of time with my dad, so that was great. But we also had another boat, a 20-foot powerboat that was built by Bertram. And if you're familiar with boats, that's a yacht, basically. It's a Bertram Yacht Company. So it's a 20-foot yacht. Now, the Bertram Boat Company still is in existence today down in Miami. I think they're in Miami. But they don't make little boats like this anymore. And this boat was, I think, made in 1965. So it's old. And it's been sitting in my driveway. Basically, all my life, I have seen this boat. And it's, I don't really ever remember being on it as a kid. So my dad had boats, but none of them ran. So it's kind of funny. To me it is, as I think back about it. And I used to always ask my dad, when can we take the Bertram out? When can we take the Bertram out? It was always one thing after another. He really just sat on it. He didn't really do all that much. I guess it came in spurts. My dad would work on a project, go all out on into it, and then he would just stop, like abruptly, pretty much when it just got close to the end and very close to being operational. That's when my dad would basically stop. Now, I'm very different. I don't like to just tinker with my toys. I don't want to get them to a certain place and then just abandon them. That's what my dad did. I like to use my toys. My dad also had a John boat. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's just an aluminum boat. An aluminum, there's nothing really to it except for a boat. Then you strap a motor onto it. And since I was a kid, that was behind our shed. It was just there. When I got into high school, I got old enough to where I could actually, my parents would let me take the boat, strap it on top of my car, and take it out not in the intercoastal, but off of the intercoastal in these mangrove swamps, Westlake Park, actually, down in Hollywood. So, I've been around boats all my life, and I use the hell out of my John boat. In fact, I still have my John boat. It's up here in Virginia with me. I take it out every so often. Honestly, it's been sitting a lot lately. But going back to the Bertram. So there's a 20-foot Bertram. It's a Bertram Bahia Mar. Really not all that important, but this boat's been in my life pretty much for as long as I can remember. Tommy would remember it well, and remember how it sat in the driveway. Well, when my dad passed, he gave me the boat. And actually, before he passed, he asked me if I wanted the boat. I'm sorry. He asked me if I wanted anything of his. And the first thing I said was, I want the Bertram. And I remember the look in his eye, and he was like, of course, you can have it, of course. But it's a really big project, and I don't think you're gonna do it. And I think he knew how to push that button with me. Tell me I can't do something, and I'm going to prove you wrong. Well, I got the boat. I sat on it for a while myself after my dad died. And I really wasn't getting that far on it because I don't have the expertise. I have some mechanical ability, but not to the level that the boat needed it. And I can work on a car, but a boat's a different animal. So I found a guy here in the Richmond area, came highly recommended, and brought him the boat. And he says, I'll take it on as a project, but it's going to take a while. I said, that's fine, because it's important to me that this be done right. And if you want to work on it at your own leisure, that's fine. Well, that was 5 years ago. And in that time, the mechanic, I would call up, and he's like, no, hasn't worked on it. I go by to check on the boat. I was in the area, and I drive by, and the business is no longer there. It's gone. I drive by, the fence is there, the building's there, none of the boats are there, they're gone. The building's all locked up. There's no sign. I mean, the sign from the old business is still there, but there's no business there. So, I'm freaking out. I did get in touch with the guy, and it turns out that he had some problems with his lease, and he had to move. Gave me a new address, and I looked it up on Google, and it was kind of in a residential neighborhood. I tried to drive by. I actually tried to drive around there, and I could never find it. From time to time. It was away half an hour from my house. So, I would call the guy every now and then. He's like, yeah, haven't done anything. Had a heart attack. Yeah, moved the business. Then had a heart attack. Maybe you had two. It's been rough. I had to be very patient. And my father, he taught me patience. So all along, I'm thinking, you know what? When I took the boat to the mechanic and I started having all these issues, I started talking to my dad. This calling out to my dad, who passed. Started saying, Dad, you taught me to be patient all my life. You said that was a good thing, a good character, part of your character to develop. It was a good skill to have. Well, you know what? I need your help. And you're going to have to be patient if you want me to fulfill my obligation to my dad to spread his ashes at sea. That was kind of the last wish that my dad had. And I told him I would do that for him. But I want to do that in the boat. I think it's important that I complete this project, and maybe my dad knew that if he pushed that button with me and told me I couldn't do something, that I would make it happen. Well, I'm here to tell you that after 5 years, I was able to track down the mechanic. I found the property. I actually went out there, and it was, kind of an open Saturday on my calendar, and I thought, you know what, I have this address. I'm just so sick and tired of not getting my boat back, and I've been trying to call this guy, and he won't pick up the phone. And maybe he had another heart attack. Maybe he died. I mean, who knows what happened? But I kept on thinking, the longer time went on, the more I thought, you know what, the time could be ticking on this. Maybe he did die, and maybe they're clearing out all of his business assets, I don't know if he had records or what. I would hope that he has records on whose boat is who, but I thought, oh man, it's going to be a mess. I'm never going to get my boat back. So I thought, I'm going to try to track this guy down. And I did. I found the property. Didn't even have an address, a number out in front. Just had this yellow ribbon tied around the tree. And then a driveway kind of leading back deep into the property, in between like a forested area and then a house. And could have been like the back of somebody's house. I did not know. The house was marked. It had numbers. It was not the number I had, but I could see boats and stuff behind this house. And I thought, this is the only way back there. So I go back there, and I didn't see anyone back there. But I'm thinking all the while, I'm out in the country. I'm a stranger in a strange land, and I'm going to get my ass shot. I'm in Virginia. People have guns, and they don't take too kindly to strangers sometimes. So kind of freaked out. I was like, I honked my horn. I stopped at the house there. I put a note. I couldn't rouse anybody. I put a note on their door, and I left. And I called up my buddy down in Florida, a good friend of mine, and I was telling him about it. And he's like, John, you gave up too easy. You got to go back. And as he said that, I was thinking, you know what? You're absolutely right. No one is going to call me. I need to go and talk to a person. I need to find somebody. And there were a couple of other houses in the area, neighbors. Maybe I could find something out. So I went back. And you know what? I actually went a little bit deeper in the property. And near where the boats were, I was like, I got to at least try to see my boat. I haven't seen it in 5 years. So as I'm looking back there, as I'm in my car and I'm kind of looking around, I see movement. I see the guy back there. And I went back there and introduced myself. And he says, just come with me. And I walked into the back, to this building in the back. Basically, it was just a big boatyard and then a small building in the back. And in that back, I see I see the motor, and he goes and it's got a battery hooked up. He says, I've been working on it. He goes, it's running, and cranked it, and I heard it rumble. I heard it start. It ran. It sounded awesome. It sounded badass. I said, I love it. I got super excited. And as I was talking to him, he says, I kind of had to take the winter off. Couldn't work on it outside, and I just needed to kind of get healthy. And he says, I've been working on the boat, and says, I kind of feel guided. He says, I would be out here working on it, and this is an old engine. He says, I haven't seen one in a long, long time, and I really wasn't sure what to do. And then something would dawn on me. He's like, it was almost like I was guided. Because I think your dad was helping me. And I think Dad maybe was. So right now, the motor is in the boat, and he's hooking up the stern drive, and when I get it back, it's going to be an operational boat. And I will need to do all the cosmetic stuff. It's been sitting out, but the weather is not really bad up here for a boat to sit out, so it's not bad. It will all buff out. It will be beautiful. I will post some pictures, I think, on the site. But this is a total win for me, and it's just been a lifelong dream. Now, once I have my boat up and running, and I have it, the seats put in and everything hooked up, and I've got my CTOW, insurance policy in case I break down and I have to be towed in. I'm going to start exploring the Chesapeake Bay. I'm going to take my dad, I'm going to take his ashes out to sea and spread them out at sea. And I'm going to miss walking by his urn. I've got him in a box. He's a knick-knack. That's probably why he hates that joke, I think. I think he would probably hate being called a knick-knack. My dad's spirit is, I guess, is here with me. And whether his ashes are here or not, his spirit will always be with me. He will always be a part of me. I'm a part of him. And as I go out and explore on my boat, know I'll be posting more about it, because I had another boat that he gave me that when he got sick, it was tough. It never ran right. It was not a good boat for me. But when it did run, and I was scooting along on Lake Chesden up here by me, I remember thinking, this is what my dad knew exactly what he was doing when he put this boat in my path, or on my path. Scooting along in the open air, on the open water, there's nothing like it for me. There's a feeling of exhilaration and a feeling of just euphoria, and that's, to me, is living, and that's a life term that I want more and more in my life. There's a island out in the Chesapeake Bay called Tangier. It sounds really exotic. I've been reading about it. It's been populated, I think, since the 1600s, and the island is actually about 1/3 of the size that it was because of erosion and because of climate change and global warming and the rise of the ocean. the island is disappearing. You may have heard about it. Again, it's called Tangier, Tangier. I want to see it before it goes under. I want to go fishing in the Chesapeake Bay. I want to spend more time with my son. I want to show him boating and fishing, and he's 13 years old. He's growing up. He's going to be a man before I know it. This is the time, and I know my dad is looking down on me. And what's so funny is that I don't have my boat back, but I can already feel and see how things are in place now, as they should be, as I think they should be, and they're aligning now and falling into place. These things that I've been working on for a very, very long time. It's I'm going to give you an example. So I have a lot of stuff in my garage mahal. I have a 3.5 car detached garage. 2.5 cars is enclosed, and then 1 car is a carport, actually, and that's where I put my boat. It's got a very high ceiling in it, and it's pretty cool. So I've got a place for it, but as you can imagine, in 5 years, I've used that space in other ways. It's got junk in it, and I've been cleaning that out, making room, and I've got all this stuff in the garage that's just clutter, basically, because I don't know if I need these things or not. I've held on to a lot of things that most would say is clutter. And my garage is very cluttered. My wife will be the first to admit it. But as I'm going through, and I know that this boat is running, I know it's in place, there's things now that I know I don't need anymore, and I'm chunking them. I'm like, it's kind of funny how, like, I'm going through my garage and I'm finding all these things that my dad left behind for the boat, that he had purchased for the boat, and they're perfectly preserved. I bagged them up, I put them away, and now I have like the brand new interior for the boat. I've got brand new bimini top. So the bimini top is like a convertible top for the boat. So it can be open or it can have a top on it. So I can use it in rainy weather. It's going to be so nice. So many of these things, like a fish finder. And I'm thinking, oh, this thing's old, but it was very expensive when it came out, and it's got everything I need. And the technology really hasn't changed that much. So it's pretty freaking awesome. I'm kind of set. My path, my dream of cruising out on the Chesapeake Bay with my son is so close I can taste it. I'm going to have my boat back. This has been a dream for a very long time, and it's also been the brunt of the jokes in my family and my friends, to say, like, I'm the only guy they know who has a boat who doesn't have a boat. It hasn't even been at my house. That's how far removed I am from it. It's just it's just pretty amazing, man. So anyhow, this is a toy in my driveway now, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. This is a tool for how I want to live my life. It's going to be a vehicle of adventure for myself, for my family, for my friends. It's a reason for our friends to come up and, hey, let's go for a boat ride. I still owe my father-in-law a boat ride because the last boat I had was a 16-foot chaparral, which was a ski boat. My dad bought it for me at auction when he was sick. He wanted me to have a boat, and it was pure headache. I couldn't find mechanics to work on things around here. It's very tough. But I went to take my father-in-law out in my other boat, and the head on the hitch was loose, and I went to leave my driveway, and I hit a dip, and the hitch came off. The trailer came off of the hitch. It popped up, broke my back window of my truck, dented my tailgate, and I have a Suburban, so tailgate and the window are right there, and a lot of curse words came out. So my father-in-law has always joked to say, "Hey, buddy, you owe me a boat ride." So I'm gonna say, "Hey, let's go." So this is gonna be a fun summer. My daughter is graduating college. My oldest daughter is graduating college. My youngest daughter is about to go into college, and my son is going to be going into 8th grade. This is an amazing time of my life, and I'm going to hopefully I'm going to create more opportunity to do what I want to do, and that's spend time with my family outdoors, enjoying, the Chesapeake Bay and the water and the ocean, and just having fun with my family and friends and loving life. That's what this is about. So if you have a toy in your driveway, whether it be a boat or maybe it's a car or motorcycle or maybe it's in your garage, hopefully you get what I'm talking about. That, these vehicles for fun, they add so much to our life, and they really make life worth living. I mean, they help create memories that you will never, you'll just cherish. You'll never let them go. So I hope you find this episode inspirational. I hope you love it. And I'm so inspired by it that if you go to my website, aswiftkickintheass.com, there's a store there. And I'm going to put a coupon out there. The coupon, I've been trying to just think of, some great name. But I think I'm going to give 50% off of any of the ebooks there. They're already really, they're really cheap, but I want to give 50% off, and I'm so excited, and about this. My website's new. I mean, this part of it's new, and if you have any problems, using the coupon or anything, just reach out to me, John at aswiftkickintheass.com. But there's a couple of different ebooks out there about finding creating a meaningful life. How to create meaning in life. And as you can tell, I do have meaning in my life, and the things that I do, there's purpose, and there's always a reason why I'm doing it. So, I hopefully communicate that in this podcast, is that you need to just grab life, and take it. Not take life. Gosh, take what you want from, and live your life. I'm not saying steal. Don't do that. I hate when I backpedal. But I want you to live a full life of health and freedom and prosperity. And you have control over a lot more than you think you do. You got to work at it, though. And I'm telling you that if you work at it, keep working, and you will have these wins. You will walk away with a win here and there that makes it all worth it. I'm going to be, as I said, talking about this more and more as time goes on. And you're going to see how this, I think this really does change my life. And it's going to change my life in many, many ways by giving me tools that I didn't have before and creating opportunities for experiences that I didn't have. So hang on. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, I didn't even give I didn't give the coupon code. It's ASKITA 50. So it's a swift kick in the ass. It's the acronym for a swift kick in the ass. ASKITA 50 for 50% off. Just go to the store, take 50% off. And I hope that you enjoy the content. I hope you find it fulfilling and helpful. It's there really to give you some good basic information on how to do these things and how to live life on your own terms. I'll be adding more to the store as life and time goes on. And I invite you to visit the store, get 50% off. Again, ASKITA 50 is your coupon code. So until next time, this is your host, John Curran. This is a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. And I wish you all well and keep living life on your terms. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.